Hello and welcome back to another week of Caitlin's Music City Skinny. I cannot believe that we are almost at the end of October. That is kind of crazy, but that also means that a lot of Halloween celebrations are going to be happening this weekend. So I am creating a guide and going to be putting it up on my website of all the Halloween things going on this weekend in Nashville. So if you're still trying to decide what to do, I will put up a post when it's live, but just know it is coming today. And that way, again, if you're still trying to decide what you want to do this weekend, you can check that out and make a decision. So today we are going to be talking about things that you should probably know about real estate agents. And this is something that is, I guess, kind of near and dear to my heart because I know, first of all, Nashville has a ton of agents, thousands and thousands and thousands of agents. And I know just from various experiences, people that I've run into, basically you can tend to think that there are a couple misconceptions about real estate agents. One, that we're all the same. That is absolutely not true. Just like how all doctors aren't the same, not all real estate agents are the same. Like when you have to have a surgery, you are not going to just, especially if it's a major surgery, you don't want to just like say, well, okay, like you're a heart surgeon, do heart surgery on me. Like obviously you're going to want to like search around and figure out who's the best fit for you. And so that's kind of the same with real estate agents. Like just like with dentists, orthodontists, like not all are the same, so not all real estate agents are the same. So I'm just kind of going to be peeling back a couple of layers today, giving you a better idea of what agents do and how everyone, one thing to think about is all agents are their own business. So while you can think that we all just do the same things, like obviously there are like main threads throughout what we do in terms of writing the contracts and getting deals done, obviously. But each person kind of builds their business in a different way and has things that they offer that maybe others don't. So let's just dive in today and take, kind of peel back some layers and really take a look at like what it means to be a real estate agent. So the first one is we don't get paid in the traditional sense. And I know that like last week I talked about the ugly C word commissions, which I prefer to call a success fee. But obviously real estate agents get paid or else we wouldn't be doing this job. But the way in which we get paid is untraditional. So let's kind of like look at that. So when we sign on to be somebody's agent, we're not getting paid up front. We get only paid on the back end once the deal is done, the keys are in hand, and the funds have been wired. We do not get paid to show houses. We do not get paid to market homes. Like we get paid at the end of a transaction when everything happens successfully. So that's why I like to call it a success fee. So, what you can say, okay, well, if you're working with a buyer, okay, you just open up doors, show them, write the contract, and that's it. And that's not the case at all. So there are so many things that happen behind the scenes when we aren't with clients that really, you ask pretty much any successful agent and they're going to be telling you like they are busy all the time. And that's because there is something to do all the time, whether it's making calls, scheduling the showings, planning out the best routes, which in and of itself is, it is definitely a time-consuming task, especially if you're going to several different, if you've got several different showings lined up in a day, the ways in which that it takes us to map it out so that you're not going here to here to here to here, back over here, making sure it's actually a really nice flowing route, like that in and of itself takes time. Then we're also calling the other agents, talking to them, learning like what do we need to know about this home that maybe isn't something that's like easily noticeable or listed within the MLS. Just really trying to educate ourselves on each home so that when our buyers have questions, it's easy to answer. Now, if you're like, when it comes time to work with the sellers, there's a ton that goes on behind the scenes. Again, getting the home prepped for show, getting the scheduling the photography, making sure the photography is done, the videography, making sure that you are loading up all the marketing materials to start rolling out in a way that best sets you up for success. Like I said, there's a ton of information or a ton of tasks that goes on behind the scenes, and it's not just like opening up doors, which of course is really fun to do, but there's a lot that goes into our day-to-day activities. We're also communicating with every single person in the transaction, so other agents, the lenders involved, the title companies involved, insurance agents, like there's a lot of communication happening. And then also communicating with the client as well, just keeping them on top of everything. I love to talk about communications with my buyers and sellers as I relate it to an airplane. So if you get on an airplane and you sit there and you sit there and you sit there and you're waiting to taxi and you are clearly delayed and it takes the captain forever to come on and tell you what's going on, like you get really frustrated really, really quickly, wondering what in the world is going on. Now, if you get on a different plane and you have a captain that starts communicating with you from the very start and says, hey, we have a delay because of XYZ. We expect it to take this long. When you manage expectations and you communicate better, like, that second example, you may still be frustrated, especially if you're going to miss a connection, but like you can at least better navigate your own emotions. And so that's why it's really important to continue to always, we're keeping contact with everybody else so we can keep contact with our clients and communicate what's happening so that they're not ever kind of wondering like what in the world's going on, right? So number 2, we are not just a fly on a wall who just follows you around in a house when you're searching. It's hard to say this for everybody because, like I said, all agents are different. But I know for me personally, I am fully invested in each of my clients, whether we're buying and or selling. And so not only am I there to be a guide for the client and help them throughout the entire process, but I'm also like making sure that I can educate the clients when needed, make sure I can answer the questions as needed as well. And you really want to make sure that you have somebody that you feel confident in working with you throughout the entire process, because especially if you're a first-time home buyer, it's a really exciting and nervous process all at the same time. So you want to make sure that you have somebody who's going to just walk alongside you, make sure that you feel confident throughout the entire thing, because it is a really big investment. It's a great investment, but it is a big investment and it can be totally scary. So, and I'm a big believer in just making sure that my clients are taken care of well after the transaction is done. So whether that's, bringing over a bottle of wine to celebrate, the anniversary of you closing on your home, or still being your go-to resource. I work with a lot of buyers relocating to Nashville, and so if you want to know, like, where should you go watch your sports team play football, I've got suggestions for you. So it's just, my clients are not just like, they're not just like paychecks in my mind. They are like, I am truly invested in them and making sure that I can help them in any way that I can. And then number 3, we totally have Pinterest boards ourselves. So you guys are not the only one pinning home ideas to your Pinterest boards. I would care to say that I could probably have a Pinterest board that could rival some of my most creative clients, because part of the reason why I got into real estate was because I have loved homes for a very, very long time. Like, it goes back to my childhood. I remember my parents taking my sister and I into open houses after church on Sundays because they were getting ideas for the future home that they ended up building. And I just remember my imagination would run wild with just the difference of the floor plans and how I could make each room fit my imagination. And so, even today, like, I still am fascinated with just like the new touches that are coming into homes and the way that they are now, like, new features that they're incorporating. And so I love to still pin things on boards, because if clients have questions or they need ideas, I've got a good resource there that I can help just send to them. So it really helps not only expand my ideas of what can be done, but then again, it's also a really great resource to be able to use for clients who are saying like, hey, we've got some dead space over here in, in the living room, not quite sure what to do. Well, then I say, well, hey, I've got a couple ideas now, whether they want to use it or not, totally up to them. But it's just a means, like ultimately being a realtor means being a resource before anything else. And you want to be able to meet your clients' needs at all times. Again, whether that's they're moving to town and they need to know, well, where's a great dog groomer? Or, hey, we need to know about schools, providing them the resources where they can go and figure out which schools they feel are a best fit for their kids. So, again, we're not just people that like go and open up doors and, hand you your keys. There's a lot more that happens throughout the entire process. So, I hope this helps give people a little bit better idea of what real estate agents do. Again, everybody is different. So when you are looking to buy and or sell, it's a great idea to do a little research and figure out who you believe is going to be the best fit for you and what they offer that can fit your needs best. So I hope that everyone is having a wonderful Thursday. Again, I will put up a post when my blog about all of the Nashville Halloween activities is live later on today. So if you're still trying to make decisions, you can head on over there and hopefully make a choice on what you want to do this Halloween. So I'm a little bummed out. Normally my sister and I do Halloween together. She comes in town and we go all out with costumes, but because she just got a really cool new job being the head of a shark department at an aquarium, she unfortunately doesn't have the time off, so we're just having to postpone our really awesome costume ideas for another year. So, but I will be doing some Halloween pumpkin painting this weekend. So I hope that everyone's having a wonderful Thursday. Please don't ever hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. I'm always here to help, and I hope you have a wonderful weekend.